So we've arrived at station number 4. We're making good progress. This station says Jesus meets his mother. Now, this also is not stated specifically in Scripture that Mary was there and met her son, but it certainly is undeniably likely and certainly very, very probable. Who was at the foot of the cross? Mary was. She had to get there. Do you think she's not going to go with her son this journey, this last journey with him to the cross, to see if there's anything she could do to help him as he's on his way? Why wouldn't she be there? She was there for the crucifixion, and I am quite convinced that she was there following along. We do know that there were a group of holy women. We're going to get to them in station number 8. So I'll reserve that comment until then. But Mary was certainly with the holy women, and she was there for the crucifixion, and she witnessed all of this. And in a way, we can even say she participated in this because she's offering her son to us as a sacrifice as well. She's giving him up. In Mel Gibson's movie, The Passion of the Christ, one of the things I love about it is the way Satan is portrayed. And if you watch there, Satan does not like the woman. He doesn't like Mary. He doesn't trust her. He remembers Genesis 3:15 in the Bible when God said to him after the fall, he said to him, God says to the devil, I'll bring enmity between you and the woman and between your seed and her seed. Well, who is her seed? Her seed is going to be Mary giving birth to Jesus. So there is Adam and Eve there. But there's going to come a time where there's going to be another woman with her son. And her son is going to crush the devil's head. And the devil will wound his heel. And so here we have a very interesting parallel between the Old Testament and the New. And St. Ignatius of Antioch said that the devil never really caught on to a lot of these things at the end. And even the book of Corinthians says that it had the rulers of this age, meaning the spiritual powers, the devil, known they would not have crucified the Lord of glory. There was mystery that was kept away from them. And I think that Satan, though, knowing that this is the woman, John's gospel refers to her each time he mentions Mary as the woman in Cana of Galilee and the woman at the cross. I think that's specifically to point back to Genesis 3:15 where it says the woman. This is her. And the devil doesn't like her. He watches her. You watch the movie. Even when Mary's going through the crowd, he never takes his eyes off that woman. What does she know? What is she going to do? He doesn't like her at all because she's chosen by God and given the grace from the moment of conception. He has no foothold in her. He does not have his clutches in her because there's no sin there. And he doesn't like her. In the movie, again, I keep drawing back on Mel Gibson's movie because it's always had a big impact on me, and I think it's just some of the best artwork ever. There's a flashback to Mary when Jesus was a little boy, and Jesus is running towards Mary, and he stumbles and he falls and he skins his knee, and he cries out. And Mary, in slow motion, goes running to her son, running to Jesus, and she falls down on him and she picks him up and she comforts him and she takes care of his little wounds and it's okay, Jesus, it's okay. And when Jesus is going along and he stumbles and he falls with the cross, you see Mary rushing to Jesus in slow motion, and she goes and falls down to comfort him, and she's knocked away. I could not help. I get tears in my eyes every time. That's one of the most powerful scenes in the movie for me, is Mary coming to Jesus as he's falling on the pavement there with that heavy cross, trying to comfort him, but being pushed away. She can't comfort him even. And then we get to the statement that was made in the temple when Jesus was first born, and Mary took him there for the presentation. And remember when Simeon came in Luke chapter 2:35, and he said to her that this son of yours will be a sign of contradiction that will cause many to rise and fall in Israel, and a sword will pierce your soul also. Can you imagine a 15-year-old girl who just comes to the temple with this beautiful new baby, a special baby, and he's going to be presented to the priest, and they're going to redeem him, and this is a whole nother topic. but the presentation of Jesus. And the old prophet comes and says, a sword is going to pierce your soul also. A 15-year-old girl, how does she process this? There was no angel coming to her every day and giving the Mother of God updates on what's going to happen. But she starts to see now that this must have been what Simeon the prophet meant. And at Calvary, when we bring our groups there and we touch the top of Calvary, there's an image of Mary. It's a three-dimensional statue in a glass case. And in that, Mary's eyes look so real. They look like they're full of joy and peace and at the same time full of horror. That the artwork is magnificent to get all of these emotions in her face. And right in her chest is a sword. And she's there looking at the cross where Jesus is. And a sword will pierce your soul also. I have to say that I've heard many times that there's no pain as great as a parent watching their child die. Mary is here now witnessing this unhappy event. I'm sure that she understood the good that would come from it, but no mother could watch a son go through this and not be agonized by it. One of the most difficult things I ever had to do in my life. My mother is 99 years old, and last year my oldest sister died at 80. And I remember we didn't tell Mom that night. But I had to go to the retirement center there, and we got Mom propped up in her chair, and I think she knew something was coming because of the solemnity in which my brother and I went to her. And we had to tell my mother that her only daughter had died. That was difficult to do. My mother just slumped into her chair and started to sob. And for the next hour, we did what we could to comfort her. For a mother to hear of or witness the death of her own child, you're supposed to die before your child, and yet Jesus, the Son of Mary, is suffering an unbelievably excruciating death, and she knew that he was totally innocent. And I think she knew her Bible, and she knew why this was happening. But Mary there witnessing Jesus go through this, it didn't make it any easier for her.